Make today iconic. What's up, guys? It's Upcome Sports, back with another mock draft, post-draft lottery, and we're going to be making the most realistic picks that teams would make, so not like theoretical or anything like that, or what would you call it, like stretching who people would pick. So the first pick, we're actually going to go with the safe pick here. We're going to draft DeAndre Ayton. Ayton or Doncic could go here. The reason I think Doncic is because they did hire Igor Kokoskov, who did coach Luka Doncic, so he knows the most about him out of any team. So there's a chance he could go, but besides that, Ayton is the most NBA ready, so he would go number 1. Next up, we've got the Sacramento Kings, and what they really need is either a wing or a big man, because they've got De'Aaron Fox, they've got Buddy Hield, Bogdanovic can shoot the ball, but I see him more as a bench piece. They've got Scalabrine and Cauley Stein, but they're not really panning out as people would have hoped. So I think the Kings don't pass up on Luka Doncic, although I have heard that they're not too high on him. I think if they see him here at number 2, they draft him just because he could be a superstar in this league. He has that kind of potential, and if they were to pass up on that, I think it would be a foolish move, but they could also go Bagley or Bamba here. Next up, we've got the Atlanta Hawks at number 3, and they pretty much need everything. They're rebuilding. They've got Dennis Schroeder, who they're going to pay a really big contract to. He's only 24, but they've got John Collins. He's a nice rookie they picked up this year. I think they go with Mohamed Bamba here, just because of his length, his defense. He can shoot the ball as well, so he can spread the floor. Him and John Collins would be a nice front court for the future. Pair him up with Schroeder, I think that would be a really good future for the Hawks. So Mohamed Bamba would go number 3. With the 4th pick, the Memphis Grizzlies, they just need a power forward or maybe a shooting guard, but they've got Mike Conley, they've got Marc Gasol. Dylan Brooks is a nice rookie they picked up, so I think they go with a young power forward who can score in Marvin Bagley. If you have not seen Marvin Bagley play, he can play in the post, get you some good buckets in the paint, and he can also shoot it a bit. So next up, we got the Dallas Mavericks, who have Dennis Smith Jr. at the point guard position. They're paying Wesley Matthews a lot of money at shooting guard. They've got Harrison Barnes on a nice long contract. They just need big men on this team. And here I think they would take Jaren Jackson Jr. if he's still on the board. Some people are saying he could go as high as number 2 or 3. So to get him at 5, that would be a nice pickup for the Mavericks. Pair him up with Dennis Smith. Next up at 6, we've got the Orlando Magic, and they really need a point guard. They've been putting it off for a long time. They just traded Elfrid Payton to the Suns for a 2nd round pick, so looks like he wasn't the guy for them. They could go best available, but I think they just have to get a point guard in this draft. Either Trae Young or Colin Sexton, but I think Colin Sexton is more NBA ready than Trae Young, so they'd pick him up. At 7, the Chicago Bulls. They need some wings or a center because Robin Lopez is not really a starting caliber guy on a championship team. So there's one guy that's still on the board who people were talking about going number 1 overall before his injury. Michael Porter Jr. He has superstar potential. To get him at number 6, that's a steal for the Bulls, so they would take him. Next up, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers with the 8th pick, and this one's a bit tricky because It all depends on whether LeBron James decides to stay or leave. But I think there's one guy that could benefit in both situations, and that is Trae Young, point guard out of Oklahoma. If LeBron stays, he'll have a nice three-point shooter in Trae Young, who can also get assists. Plus, if he leaves, a guy who can sell tickets. At number 9, we got the New York Knicks. And they really just need some wings who can shoot and play defense. And there's one guy in particular who does that very well. And that's Mikal Bridges out of Villanova, national champ this year. He can play defense at an elite level, at least in college. I assume it'll translate to the NBA. And he can knock down the three ball. So going forward, that'll really help the Knicks. Next up, the Philadelphia 76ers with the 10th pick. They really need some shooting on this team, especially because their three-point shooters are getting pretty old. JJ Redick and Ilyasova and Bellinelli. So, there's a guy who can really score, and that's Miles Bridges. He just needs to improve a little bit on his three-point shooting, and he'll be really good in the league. With the 11th pick, the Charlotte Hornets, and they'll be really thrilled if this guy falls to them. And that is Wendell Carter Jr. They really need a power forward. All they got is Frank Kaminsky, who's really a center, and Marvin Williams, who's getting really old. So, Wendell Carter Jr. to the Hornets. He's a beast. Played alongside Bagley. Walking double-double. Next up, the Clippers have the 12th and 13th pick in the draft. And really all they need is a point guard and a small forward, because they've got Lou Williams on a good contract. They're probably going to re-sign DeAndre Jordan. They've got Tobias Harris at the 4. And they've got 2 back-to-back picks in the lottery, which is going to be really good. There's one guy who's really athletic and knows how to score, very patient on the ball, and that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander out of Kentucky. He'll be a raw prospect, but if they can get him good, he'll be really talented, really good on defense, and able to shoot. With the 13th pick, I think they'd pick up Kevin Knox, also out of Kentucky, who can really space the floor, can also play the 4 at some times, and very athletic. And with the 14th pick and the last pick I'm going to be showing, the Denver Nuggets, who barely missed the playoffs. They just need a guy who can help them in trying to get into the playoffs. So I think they get the best available wing player, and that is Rawls Alkins out of Arizona. Very strong guy, very athletic, can shoot the ball. I think he can be an elite defender and knockdown three-point shooter. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys thought of this mock draft in the comment section. Please subscribe for more videos. All of my watches over 60. All of my baguette make you do a 360. They hop out the coupe in your hood and get rich.